Good evening, everyone. Firstly, I am absolutely gutted and that I can't be there tonight for the 70th anniversary. There's nothing more than I would like them to come back and spend the evening with all the familiar faces and friends and family. Speaking of which, is that Tony White? Hi mate, how you going? Oh no, sorry, Sam Rowlands. Just look very similar from back here. But yeah, hope you're all having a good evening, and I hope that June chokes on his steak. Right. What's my best Runcorn CC memory? For me, it's got to be, it's all the little things, stuff like getting bestie bladdered at the every end of season do, to like Illy losing his head every week, Ollie moaning, batting with a Toblerone, and then Kale sort of stripping naked at Davenham last game of the season when he got out for a duck. But all them little things, they all add up. But for me, it'll be the T20 final win at Ashton on Mersey, and also getting promoted last game of the season against Barnton at home. Yeah, they're the special memories for me.
I think that was a very easy one to answer, and that was the 2020 final at Romney.
Yeah.
That whole day was, I think the whole build up to that, we had a few wins under our belt there, and the whole build up to that game, and the team was, I just remember that day being like the cherry on the top from the last 3 or 4 games that we had. I think we had played, I can't remember, who was that team where that other South African fast bowler played at? It was a semi-final, I think. What was his name? He was a slinger.
Yeah, did we play Barrow? Was it Matty Park?
Yes, it was Barrow.
Yeah.
And we had played them in the semis, and I think it was tight, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But yeah, that Romney day was definitely a highlight. Probably one of the highlights, like entire cricketing career.
Yeah, it's good, mate.
Just
the whole,
like, fierce and like team environment and like the build up to the day, definitely a highlight.
Yeah, mate, it's so good. Even like the bus journeys there, and then everyone back to the club after it. It's so good.
Well, Wellesley's sixes, and no, it was a good day. His first and only contribution for that.
Yeah, he's still living off it now.
Oh wow!
I remember first getting to the club, arriving at the club, and I thought I'd bring a bottle of the good old South African brandy to the club, and it was a bit of a meet and greet on the first night, and I think between myself, Sam Rowland, Stu Conway, and Darren Ruane, we finished this bottle of brandy. Obviously, traveling through the night, coming to the UK the next day, we were all quite feeling it the next morning. And old Sammy Rowland picked me up and took me to my first Weatherspoons experience at about 9 a.m. in the morning. So cheers, Sammy Rowland. I think that lined the stomachs and got us back on our feet. So that by far stands out. Most Chambers evenings.
Many of them.
Chambers was life changing, to be honest. Got a bit of everything there. Probably making our way back up the main street home at about 4 or 5 a.m. hearing the birds chirp. That was always a good experience. And there's a memory that pops up on my Facebook page once a year of I think you taking the photo. We've got the polar bear, we've got Mad Phil, we've got Beachy, myself waiting at Lime Street, and you got Wiggy's taking refuge on the pavement there. So that evening kind of sums up my whole summer of 2014. Just so good, so epic, so adventurous. Memory that stands out the most, we had a massive win that season against, I think it was Malpas. They had like an international player or something, Wood or some family or whatever, and the boys pulled off a fantastic win. That stands out at home. So yeah, those are a few few of the good memories. Everything was fantastic, but those stand out, and I tell those stories quite often.
Yeah, that definitely set the tone. Set it up with a bottle of brandy for the rest of the summer.
Best memory of playing for Runcorn. One for me was hitting a 6 off a last ball against Prestbury to win in the last ball of the game. Batting with you the day before I went on the first lads holiday to Zante, that was great. But the one that stands out more than anything else was the double T20 double that we won at Romley. Such an unbelievable day. Yeah, fantastic to have the club win both T20s, second team and the first team, and it was just an absolute unreal day, and even better night afterwards.
Yeah, I would say probably easily my favorite was winning the double with the under 18s, and also with the first team. That was quite a special day. Fortunately, we didn't have to go through the nerve-wracking bit of taking it all the way to the end on the last day of the season. So with the points, as soon as we hit 180, we had won the league, and that was quite fun to go out there and watch Sammy Rowland steaming in, getting a fafa, or almost a fafa, I don't know, swinging it back up the hill. That was quite a special day. Another one that comes quite close is that away game at Disley, which I was chatting to you about, where we took it quite close to the end. I think it was the last over.
Yeah.
And we picked up their last pole, and that was pretty special as well.
Yeah, it was like second to last ball. I think they were 9 down, needed about 5 to win.
Yeah.
Bit of a tight one.
Chumley for its scenery. We always won there. Best cakes in the league by an absolute country mile. And also, it's like an hour there and back. Hour there is rubbish, but on the hour on the way back is the best car ride. You know, it's at least 5 cans on the way home. So, yeah, that on the way back is definitely the best away ground for me.
I would say probably the favorite one was, I believe it's called Grappenhall. With the under 18s, there was quite a nice ground. I think they were quite high up in the leagues there. And then also we played at, is it Barnton?
Yeah.
Yeah, their track was pretty flat, so I enjoyed it there. So yeah, I would say those two. And the worst one was the first round we played at, I think, was Stockton.
Yeah.
That was terrible. There was still like it was still like moss on the pitch, and that was definitely a welcome to the UK. It's still cold at that stage.
Yeah, plenty of jumpers.
So early on, when I was young, a long time ago, Clinton Beamer, he by far was the scariest person in the world. He was rapid. I don't think he knew where it was landing, and neither did the batsman. So yeah, he was definitely one of the hardest people to face. And also Rod Dog, back in his day, he just bowled it that short of a length and was pretty vicious when he was rapid.
How many net sessions did we actually have?
Not many.
I was trying to think of this question. I was thinking, how many net sessions did I actually bat at? It wasn't many. But I think I would go with Wiggy. But when was he ever at a net session as well?
Yeah, exactly.
So probably Dan Booth. Because I think he used to bowl 2 foot no balls, and it used to be a lot quicker the Astro than you expected. But yeah, he was a handful when he got it right.
Yeah, definitely.
When everybody decided to come to nets. Well, Mad Phil was a tricky one, because Mad Phil, he could rush you. He had a tendency to get it through quite quick, surprisingly. So he could rush you in the nets. And he also tended to do a bit with the ball as well. So Mad Phil was a tough one, to be honest.
Oh, Mad Phil. Hated facing the nets, not because just because you didn't know where the ball was going to go. It would be at your chin, but you didn't know if it was going to bounce first or not. So hated facing him. But at least all that hard work he did in the nets came off to be able to bowl 17 balls in 1 over. So that at least in bowling the nets kind of was worthwhile. But yeah, facing the nets was a nightmare.
Fortunately, we played so much cricket that I actually didn't net that often. I actually hate netting, to be fair. Don't like just smashing the ball into a random net, not knowing where the fielders are. But there is a correct answer for this, and it's mad full. Because you just don't know what you're going to get. It's either coming at your head or your toes or both. And he used to bowl from about 5 yards in front of the line as well. So it was always interesting to face him in the nets.
Yeah, that's been a very common answer.
So if you're a normal person, then you want to avoid the likes of Boothie, Williams, but I'm not normal, and it's my favourite car rides that on the way home, at least you always go past an offie on the way back, and that Stairsy corner in Western Point, attacking that at least 80-90 mile an hour is definitely my favourite part of the away game.
This is a tough one. I tended to drive with Jack Weston quite a bit. I know he would normally go pick up a parent's car and we would jump into the car. The choice of music in Jack's car was a bit questionable, I would say. A few old tracks there from the skip. Coming home, we tended to have Sammy Rowland in the back seat, and the music became even more questionable. So DJ Sam started playing his music, and that tends to stand out coming down the M16 back from Manchester after a good win, and Sammy passing a few beers around, and the music. There's room for improvement there.
There still is. Don't worry, Carl. That's changed.
Cheekies, you'd kind of want to be in. Car you'd want to be in because you're going to get there quick, but you might have a detour into a field, which was always a bit risky. But I think that everyone tried to avoid, and God rest his soul, was Bestie, because you'd have to kind of hold your breath for the entire journey there and back. So that was one everyone tried to avoid like the plague.
Yeah, that's the one I think most people are going to say. That and Bestie's sweatbox.
Oh yeah, I think it was the seal they used to go with him the most, but mainly because he just kind of got the short straw and just said, "Oh, I'll go with him."
Yeah, so the one I did want to be in is obvious. Who I didn't want to be in. It's a difficult question. Am I allowed to say Tigsy? And it was like, because we had talked about cricket the whole way there.
Yeah, 100% Paul's going to be there, so it'll be made up with that.
Put all due respect part in there, but it was I can't remember who else I went with though. It was either yourself, probably you actually. I'll put you in the car.
Yeah, that's fair comment.
Drive like a maniac, if I remember correctly.
Terrible music choice.
There you go.
Yeah, I would say this is also quite an easy answer. It's Walsies. Usually because you got hotboxed on the way to and from grounds. So it was always and you got a speech while it was happening as well about why it's so good for you. So yeah, Walsie's car. And he just talks a lot of smack, which is quite entertaining. So I guess that helps him out a little bit there.
Best opponent faced. Now, there's a few overseas players, a lot of Aussies, but I'm going to put this down to Davenham under-18s team where they skittled us for 40. at their place, and they had a few Cheshire lads, and they're by far the best team I've ever played or faced. There's a lad called Ben Goff. I think I came in at 4, and I think it was my 3rd ball, my off stump went cartwheeling, and he come down the wicket and said, "Where's your off stump gone, gimp?" And I had nothing back for him, so the only thing I had was to take my helmet off and then go after him and say, you're going to be asking where's your middle teeth gone if you carry on like that, champ. So yeah, Dagenham CC by far is the best team I've ever played against, under 18s.
I do. It was quite competitive that year. I remember there was quite a few good teams that came down. A few teams had really good overseas players. I remember that. I think we had like teams like that Malpa side, that Stockport side that had come down were really decent. And you had I wrote down the name, Ashton and Mersey, was it? Ashton and Mersey. They had a guy that just absolutely pumped the ball. Can't remember what his name was. I think he might have ended up playing for Runcorn for a season. That guy was one of the players that I've seen hit the ball the hardest, and he tended to score runs both home and away against us. Found that was a tough fixture, just because of that guy just absolutely smoked it and could take a game away from us. I remember playing at Ashton Mersey, and I think he lost about 6 balls into the river. So that was a tough one, but it was a good competitive season. The cricket that was played, I think it also brought out good cricket from us. And I think we competed, and like I mentioned earlier, winning against Malpas at home was massive. I know I didn't contribute much that game. It was all the local boys that got stuck in. I think it was Dave Foster, was it? He scored a 50 that game. I remember that, and I think Beachy knocked off the runs at the end. So that game really stands out for me, beating the log leaders. That was massive.
Best opponent you faced? I think it'll be that same bowler from Hale Barnes, that South African guy. What is his name? Parks. Matthew Parks.
Matt Parks from Barrow. Yeah.
I think because I remember we played them 3 times, obviously home and away, and in the 2020. And I remember getting the better of him on the first 50 over game we played, and then in the second one I think he bowled me a slow ball Yorker and got me. He bowled me and got me I remember not even picking it, and it was. But I remember also there was someone got 100 against us, big 100, and I can't remember who he was. I can sort of see his figure, but I don't remember the name. But yeah, probably Matty Parks there.
Best opponent I faced, Cush hit me for the biggest 6 I've ever seen in my life from Oakmere, so that's a difficult one to forget. But I can't remember the lad's name, but there was a West Indian left-hander batsman who played for Barrow back in the day. He batted with possibly one of the worst batting lineups I've ever seen, but he basically almost dragged him over the line away from home, and it was absolutely. It was like watching Lara play against us, and he was absolutely phenomenal. But I can't remember his name, but yeah, that West Indian from Barrow was the best player I reckon I played against.
Best opponent. I would say that Disley team was alright. I think they were a bit of a wild card. I can't remember the exact result we had to them when we played them at home. But when we played them away at that ground, I think there was a bit of problems with the rain the day before, and it just wasn't a nice game at all. Wasn't particularly fun, but it was good to get on the right side of that fixture. So I would say probably playing them at their away ground was quite tough.
Yeah, that's the one everyone wants. I think this one I had. There were 2 examples, and the one was like an individual brilliance in like a specific spell of bowling was Wiggy when he got it right. I think that he could. When Wiggy got it right and he was shaping it both ways and hitting a length, that was something special to watch. And then I think for like consistency throughout the season, I think Deej was quite a handful. He was like as an all-rounder, as an offie, and whenever he did get a draft at the bat. But he was. I remember him having I don't know how he's gone since then, but he was bowling in tandem with him was really cool.
Yeah. Okay, so mate.
You would scrape in there. You would scrape in there if there wasn't a short cover.
Yeah.
We were allowed to short cover what, like 10 times in the season or something.
Oh, it was probably more than that, I think.
Oh, I remember that clearly.
Oh yeah, one last question. Which I missed, best player I've ever played with? And that is, there's a few, can't name it to one, but in the day, Illy was up there, Bananarama, but yeah, Ollie and Kale for me are the top two. They're the best players I've ever played with. Ollie, just as all round, bowling and batting, and Kale with the railway sleeper bat that he had. Yeah, they're the two that are outstanding for me.
That season was, we had obviously a lot of young guys coming through, including yourself, and you could see you guys were a group of a good under 18 team that started playing senior cricket. So there was a lot of guys that stood out. Your technique, watching Patrick Tyrrell bat, watching like Beachy bat, you guys all had amazing techniques, and it was always a pleasure watching you boys bat. And I mean, some of your drives through the covers I really enjoyed. Watching Beachy bat as a lefty, it's always good watching a lefty bat. But I think the guy that stood out for me the most was Matty Drury, and the way he bowled and how much he could swing the ball and still control it. I think he was perfect for those UK pitches, and he would go for absolutely zero and actually take really good wickets up front. So Matty Drury is key players in that season. Just containing batsmen, putting pressure on, and then if he wasn't taking the wickets, then you had a guy like Wiggy coming from the other end bowling unbelievable innings. So that was a good combo. Good to watch Matty.
Best player played with Jared. The season he came over was unbelievable. To not only the runs he scored, but the wickets he took, but how he read the game as well was absolutely amazing. So he was an absolutely unbelievable player, and literally kind of won so many games on his own with bat and ball. But yeah, some of the things the way he kind of played with the bat specifically was phenomenal. So yeah, Jared was the best player I've played with at Runcorn.
Yeah, I think that's a fair shout. He had such a good cricket brain as well. I always remember the one where he's bowling with no fine leg, and the lad kept sweeping him like 4 times. And someone's like, Jared, just put a fine leg in. He's like, no, I'll get him sweeping. Yeah. And he got an LB sweeping.
Yeah.
Good ball.
But I think the wickets that he got that year as well was completely went underrated simply because the amount of runs he got. But yeah, the way he set about his batting was phenomenal, and yeah, glad he was there for us in the T20 winning season as well.
We had quite a few candidates. I mean, Shiki came from Oz for a little bit, and I also liked batting with Ben. He used to give it a good whack. Never hold back. Yeah, I think a lot of the guys were up there for me. I think I enjoyed batting with yourself, and yeah, I would say probably yourself, Ben. Our bowling department was pretty good as well. Matty used to put it on a 5 pence, and then we had DJ and those guys spinning a web there for us. So I'd say those guys were interesting. Also Dan Booth, obviously with bowling left arm, he brought a bit of X factor, could also bat really well.
Best drinking partner, the neck. Early days in Barlow, absolutely. I remember the neck getting me absolutely bladdered when I was 16 after a second 11 game, and we're going back home and spewing out the window. Next door was Ben and Julie's place, and there was like Tudor, Illy, Bucko, all there laughing their heads off when I'm spewing out the gutter. Yeah, the neck early on, but later on in the days, Tudor, Illy, Bucko, all the gang of knobheads, the Sams, the Illys, the Sams, the Lofties, the Bonds, the Junes, the Carls, Jack Weston when he's out once in a blue moon. Yeah, they're the best drinking partners for me.
There's a long list of best drinking partners we've had. We've kind of got a big group of them, which it's not a drinking partner, we've got a drinking group. The one I enjoyed it most with, which had severe repercussions, was the prawn. So me and Nath had several big days, and a few do stand out. But yeah, he was actually cracking drinking partner. But then you kind of yeah, that still was never the same when I fell off there. But then yeah, as we've kind of we've had a group that's grown up there, and like yourself, Phil, at the beaches, etc. So there's been many of us who've had many drinks down there. So yeah, we've got a drinking group rather than drinking partners, I guess.
Best drinking partner. Oh mate, so many. I remember it'd be carnage pretty much from Tuesday until Sunday. You'd find someone to drink with either at the club or after a good win. It was always good to go into town with the boys and so on. Best drinking partner, to be honest, I think having a few amaretto and colas with you at the club before a big Thursday night would kick off quite strong at the club and make our way down to the last train out into Liverpool. Those memories stand out. The amaretto colas, getting the barman involved there, pouring us some strong shots there to make it into town, mate. That was special.
Yeah, there's plenty of them.
Knew the answer to this one, and it was probably PT, because he was the only person I could keep up with.
Not anymore.
Yeah, no, that it was the only person I got, but there's so many.
Yeah, plenty of options.
Yes.
Well, there's a correct answer for this one as well. Similar to the Wellesley one, it's Tom Heath. With his pink socks and stuff, doing the splits and all sorts. So there's him, but when he got a little bit out of hand, I always used to enjoy it when you came out with us. Jack Beach, he was obviously in between uni and work at that stage, so he was ready to go any day of the week. So I'd say Beachy, yourself, Bond and the boys were also quite fun to hang around with. They were good fun, yeah. And then Darren and Sue, they were good after a golf day.
Definitely.
2014, I often tell people this, 2014 was a really tough year for me personally. I'd lost my dad in the March, and at that, in a short space of a week, decided to say I'm going to go play cricket in the UK. It was like the lowest of a period for me, but it was also the most remarkable period. Going abroad for the first time and landing up at what at that moment for me was the best kind of system, the best environment to be in. Such a warm environment, getting there and just the guys just being absolutely almost family orientated. The club was and is very family orientated, so that was really special to me. And for me, Runcorn's always been that benchmark. I spent another season in the UK and it just wasn't the same. It just didn't have that same feel, that same camaraderie and same off the field spirit as well. I remember having some of that was unbelievable. And if we went in the clubhouse, we were traveling together on Thursday night, we were going into town, Saturday night we were going into Frodsham or wherever. So that warmth really was a massive comfort at that stage of my life. And the cricket played, the cricket was an awesome standard. It wasn't something where you felt you were always under pressure. There was never ever pressure felt, and that was amazing as well. Numbers was never an issue. I think that was really important and really a really nice aspect. So the fact that you guys produce so much of your own youth is also something I haven't seen too much at clubs. I mean, and what you see on the field today, I mean, you Skip, that's really special to see, is how you guys do it yourself. You try not to rely on overseas too much, and that's really special from a club point of view and how you manage the club from the board down to the first, second, third team skips. It's really special to see. You guys have something good there. It really is.
Well, I came over I was still young. Obviously wanted to, get to experience the world, get out on my own a little bit, which was really good for me. It definitely broadens your perspective to travel and live in a different country for a while. I think it was good to learn the culture. People were so friendly, which was awesome. They always made me feel welcome. The cricket was sort of the second thing, and it always felt homely. And I was still quite young at that stage, so it was good to get that experience and to learn from it. And when you feel that way off the field, it often translates to good performances on the field. So I think Runcorn had a big part to play in that performance, because we did quite well together. But and I think definitely feel like having those off-field connections with each other, getting along with all the boys was quite special. Yourself, Matty, and DT, DJ, Matt Drury, Dan Booth, even though we used to give him gears when he used to sulk. But all those kind of things, once you get to know the guys off the field, you have no problem diving around for them, putting your body on the line, sticking it out in difficult situations. And I think that was a good learning curve for me. So I enjoyed it a lot, and it's definitely a special place in my heart every time I come into the UK in the future. One of my work colleagues is setting up there, so we'll be having an office in London soon. As soon as I travel that side more often, I'll always pop in and try to see everyone. So it's definitely holds a special place in my heart, and I enjoyed it a lot.
Now, this one I thought about a lot in the last day or two. I think for me, as like cricketing memories went, like I'd had my highs before Runcorn and had my sort of cricketing career where I played at a reasonably higher level or whatever it was. But I think when I look back, that was probably the season that I remember the most, because obviously individual performance one, but more the club and the family environment and the way everyone sort of gelled together and winning that 2020. And I mean, and I think the potential of what we could have done that season was, we missed it. We could have we were just we started off a little bit slow. But I think that as a season for me, when I look back on memories, that is definitely a massive highlight on an individual level, but on a team Runcorn perspective, the way I felt at home, and that club is a real family. And I think I said when I left there, saying like meeting Kingy cutting the lawn on the first day, and this crazy fun, and it was a special place to play cricket for 6-7 months. Even when I went the next year to that Cambridge club, it wasn't the same. And I think I had high expectations, and whether it was, I think I was under not a lot more pressure. Just I didn't really make as many runs as I should have, and 4 wickets. But the environment was different, however it was. But Runcorn I've still got the hoodie in my cupboard. I actually should have worn it now. Hoodie in my cupboard, and I wear it every now and then. No, very fun memories, and the people there. I wish I'd actually keep in contact with guys more, but I speak to Jack every now and then. But when I say every now and then, probably once every 6 months. No, Billy, such good memories there. And as a team and as a club, I haven't had much better.
What does Runcorn CC mean to me? Now, this is the biggest question of the lot. For me, 2 words: family and friends. That I obviously joined Runcorn when I was 14 and played till I was like 28. And for me, the one thing is family and friends. That no matter where you are, no matter how long you've been away, you can always go back to the club and you're welcome with open arms, and you are just made to feel at home. It is home, and there's no place like it. I promise you that. I've obviously moved away a good 9 years ago now, and I've never found anything that comes close to Runcorn Cricket Club, and it's something that I miss dearly, and something I always never say never. I'd love to come back one day and be that old man on the side, be the best scoring, whinging, smelling like a pickled tramp. But yeah, it's just the people make what Runcorn is, and it's something that I'll always be thankful for my time at Runcorn, and I miss and love every single one of you dearly. And I hope you have a brilliant night. I hope you get bladdered, loads of rude out later on in the old town, and yeah, get it bummed. Happy wee. Row. See you later. Love you all. Bye bye.